The 2022 album Ants From Up There is one of the most universally acclaimed records of the 21st century and has been widely touted as a modern-day masterpiece. However, beneath the music lies a tortured, brilliant creative whose personal unravelling gave life to one of the most beautiful and devastating works of art in modern music. So raw was his expression that you can trace the decay throughout each song and unpack the mind of a tortured creative like you have never been able to before. Black Country New Road are an English post-rock band formed in 2018 in Cambridge. They bounced around the underground scene for a while and released their first album, For the First Time, in 2021. For the First Time was a chaotic, angular burst of energy. It was the sound of a band still figuring out what they wanted to be, but already operating on a level most groups will never reach. The album propelled the lyricism and performance of Isaac Wood into the spotlight for the first time, featuring him fluctuating between spoken word,
she flies to Paris, France, I come down into her childhood bed and write the words I'll one day wish that I had never said,
melancholic lulling,
and I guess in some way
satirical monologue,
I become her father and complain of mediocre theatre in the daytime and ice and single malt whiskey at night, of rising skirt hems, lowering IQs and things just aren't built like they used to be, the absolute pinnacle of British engineering.
and anguish outbursts.
What we built must fall to the rising flame.
For the first time is Black Country New Road at their least palatable. Sparing but still present, the experimental prog rock composition can easily ebb and flow into the garish sometimes. But the essence and foundational poignancy of the band's distinct sound was evident, and when paired with Isaac Wood's darkly poetic lyrics and beguilingly sincere performances, For the First Time was an absolute anomaly in debut releases. It debuted at number 4 on the UK charts. It garnered 5 stars from the NME, The Times and The Observer. It was given universal acclaim by Metacritic. It was nominated for a Mercury Prize. It was ranked in the top 50 albums of the year by the NME and The Guardian, with Loud and Quiet magazine ranking it as the #1 album of 2021. So by 2021, Black Country New Road had already carved out a reputation as one of Britain's most daring young underground bands. But in their second album, the irony faded as their style and sound was honed in. It would be a theatrical epic, but it wouldn't tell fictional stories or allegorical satire like their last. Instead, it would be the result of a man painting himself between the notes from the outside in. With tragic grit and rawness, each song would later become a haunting and self-fulfilling prophecy for the life of its writer.
So is music a way to escape a certain bad place? For you?
Or
writing?
If music's all you can do, then yeah, probably.
Is music all you can do?
So far. Always been quite interested in is sort of defense mechanisms that sort of kick in when you've done something wrong, you've been a dick or something, and inner voices saying, making up excuses or trying to push things to the side. I've always find that quite interesting.
The album opens with Chaos Space Marine. Chaos Space Marine is a triumphant, almost manic overture, seeding the underscoring themes that would bloom throughout the album's life, but also the themes that would wilt throughout Wood's life. The first 3 lines are,
And though England is mine, I must leave it all behind. The war is over lift the anchors, set an open course.
Now, all three of these opening lines can be interpreted as Wood liberating himself from a relationship that both encumbers and obliges his existence. Although England is mine, I must leave it all behind, encapsulates the paradoxical nature of this dilemma. It's almost as if he's not staying in this relationship because of love or affection, but more of principle and of stubbornness. After this conflict is mentioned and Wood declares, I must leave it all behind, the crescendo begins to build and the tempo increases as lyrics become less nuanced and more triumphant. The war is over, lift the anchor, set an open course. The relationship was an anchor, serving to keep Wood metaphorically weighed down in stagnation. After this metaphorical anchor is lifted, set an open course emboldens Wood's confidence in the wake of regained agency. The song builds with Wood lyrically casting cynicism on love.
Love they made there, will it really last? Anytime.
This displays Wood's wavering commitment with connection. Chaos Space Marine culminates in a manic verse of triumphant isolationism, galvanizing the idea of pushing people away and being empowered by the concept of escapism and the sense of independence it can give you.
In time you will find these things take up space inside your mind, where you could be keeping honest thoughts of the sea alone. So I'm leaving this body and I'm never coming home again, yeah. I'll bury the action between the window and the kingdom of men. I'm becoming a world now, and I'm looking for a place to live, yeah. Here I come now.
This line poetically and eloquently describes the hypocritical underscoring of escapism as a concept. Burying the hatchet implies reconciliation, but it's buried between a real physical window and an Abrahamic age kingdom inhabited by the non-physical divine. What is being said here is that escapism feels like a sense of independence, of resolution and of control, but in reality often leads to a surreal and stagnant state of displacement. Concorde is a reoccurring theme in the album. It is undoubtedly the most compelling motif in Ants From Up There. The Concorde fallacy, also known as the sunk cost fallacy, is the tendency to continue investing in a failing endeavour because of past investments of time, effort or money. This commonly manifests in business, but also in toxic relationships, gambling addictions or creative hyperfixations. Concorde opens with a slow downbeat guitar and drum loop. Isaac Wood sings in a quiver of woefulness that builds to one of anguish as the song musically follows along. This is the opening verse to Concorde.
Concorde, this organ, the new one I'm forming, it's grown so persistent on you. By the morning I fell to my feet, and the doctor said we are unfortunately running out of options to treat.
Here he is drawing a parallel between the Concorde fallacy that plagues his relationships and a cancer that physically plagues his body. He continues to emphasize the irrationality of the fallacy when he opens the second verse with
Concorde, I miss you, don't text me till winter. I can hardly afford a second summer of splinters this day.
showing that he both continues to invest in the relationship actively, but wants it to end passively. Due to the time and energy invested, he can't bring himself to not text till winter, and so he shifts the responsibility onto the partner.
But for less than a moment, we'd share the same sky, and then Isaac will suffer. Concorde will fly.
These two lines display Isaac Wood directly, connoting his suffering in tandem with the figurative flight of Concorde.
And you, like Concorde, I came, a light blue sleeper, and I laid dead or twitching for most of the night. But I know that you'll be there, the Sandman inside, and I'll come to like a child. Concorde, I die free this time.
From the last 6 lines, it's evident that the arduous disintegration of the relationship left Isaac with little to no hope of salvaging it, and stuck in a cycle of grief that causes persistent dreams of her, which occur so regularly that he knows when they're coming. In the last 2 lines, Isaac has hope that he'll be able to break himself away from it, and maintain a childlike optimism for forming a new relationship. This is also very reminiscent of the escapist themes that we saw underscoring Chaos Space Marine.
Show me the place where he inserted the blade. Oh, praise the Lord, burn my house. I get lost, I freak out. You call home.
The place where he inserted the blade is the emotional apex of the album, being a penultimate culmination of the irrationality and unstable nature of Wood's relationships and himself. The chorus is not sung, but pled by Wood. Painful and desperate, he pleads for his partner to
Show me the place where he inserted the blade.
Now, this comes across to me as an analogy for cheating, with Wood pleading for honesty. The use of the word inserted is not violent, and it even suggests that the person found no resistance to inserting the blade, and it further supports the idea that he is referring to his partner willfully cheating on him. The following 2 lines show a mental breakdown of reason and sanity, as Wood's mental clarity fades into paranoia. Wood is describing here how his partner reacted to his confrontation by comforting him and acting completely ordinary, as if it never happened. Another theme that is intertwined with the soul of this song is codependency, and how Wood is so utterly, gutturally codependent on his partner. The partner's importance to Wood is most poignantly emphasized and called upon by Wood in situations where he is clearly alone. The repetition of "good morning" shows the yearning and urgency Wood has when it comes to next interacting. The agony and pain in Wood's voice climbs to a disturbingly sincere level as he reaches the summit of his codependence in the following lines.
Darling, I'll spoil it myself. Thanks, you're leaving. Well, I tried just to stroke your dreams better, but darling, I see that you're not really sleeping.
The concept of stroking his partner's dreams better, just to find out she's not really sleeping, shows the absolute destruction of reason for Wood, being completely influenced and controlled by a relationship that he is greatly distorting and almost hallucinating the presence of due to such crippling levels of codependence. The song ends with the lines,
Good morning. Show me the fifth or the cadence you want me to play. Good morning. Show me where to tie the other end of this train.
This is the collapse of Wood's sense of agency in his own life and occupation. Comparing the relationship to 2 musicians playing together, the fifth is a very common form of harmony when you sing together. cadence refers to the rhythm, and together the rhythm and melody make up the music that is symbolic of their relationship. By asking for the fifth or the cadence, Isaac is asking for any sort of direction that would indicate the relationship could work if he tried. Basketball Shoes is the crippling summit of the whole album. Structured as a 3-act surrealist play, the song spans 12 minutes, culminating in Wood's poetic decay. The final act of the song sees his vocal magnum opus, the pain and emotion in his voice and performance being a culmination of all the energy and tragedy in each song that came before it. Isaac Wood opens Basketball Shoes by tying back to the motif of Concorde.
Concorde flies in my room, tears the house to shreds.
Opening with the motif of Concorde, Wood ties the causal conflict back to the start, but more corrupted. In the song Concorde, Wood gracefully paints the flight of Concorde as a melancholic but beautiful source of hurt, whereas with Basketball Shoes, he opens with it being a destructive one. In the second act, he describes,
And I haven't felt this way in life ever. She's the combo, I'm the winner. And the plan is a cracked smile cheek, and it tortures me.
in conversations that are dead, or to start a conversation from a dead environment, ubiquitously people default to the weather, but we all know it's quite a dull, mundane and meaningless topic in the grand scheme of things. So when he says that she is a convo and that he is the weather, he's diminishing his importance in her life. He's essentially saying that he doesn't participate meaningfully, and that there's millions of other topics that the conversation could have that are more interesting. Very similar to how there's millions of other people that he is saying she could go out with or she could be with that are more interesting than him. I will play the last act for you.
Generous loan to me, your crippling interest. My bed sheets now of Charlie, I pray to forget. My face, stain your chest. Generous
Were you a lyricist before? Were you a writer before you started?
Not really. I think I'd written one song after the last band broke up, and that was my first song. I was trying to sort of fill the gap, the void that the previous group had created. And
Did you feel like a certain discomfort, or?
Yeah. So I don't think it didn't come particularly naturally to me at the beginning, and I don't know if it does come particularly naturally to me at this point. But
Yeah.
Ants from Up There is rated the 34th best album of all time by Metacritic. Alongside widely being regarded as a masterpiece, it's amongst the most critically acclaimed albums to ever release. Black Country New Road were propelling forward, genre-defining, unique, and one of a kind. But they were too fast and broke barriers that ultimately would always result in their disillusion.